let's get down to business. To defeat the Urks. Alright, this hand seems amazing. Turn 1 ink. Turn 2 dink. And, ooh, Bedlam Reveler, fun times. So double Snapcaster. I think we're just taking the Thought Scour on the grounds that it's most likely to disrupt our Dark Confidant, or like draw into a lightning bolt, or even just milling a lightning bolt is really good with the Snapcasters, and it won't be flashback with Snapcaster until turn 3. So seems good. We're gonna get plenty of chances to find Emrakul here. Alright, Dreadbore is fine. Planeswalker would be nice. But even with what we have now, our pressure is pretty good. Okay, so our opponent didn't draw anything relevant, it appears. And we reveal Nahiri, which isn't exactly the order we would want those to go in. So our opponent actually drew that Blood Crypt. I think we want to just Lingering Souls this turn, since but we could also make sure we can cast Nahiri next turn. I mean, it's likely we'll draw a land if the Dark Confidant survives. Let's start by attacking. I like the Lingering Souls because we're actually pressuring pretty hard here. And say we miss on a land, we're just flashing back Lingering Souls and leaving up Bolt, which is pretty good. Alright, our opponent also drew that Dark Shores, so their draws have been pretty poor. Alright, let's see what we got. Alright, Blackleaf Cliffs, which is not a way to cast Nahiri, but it's fine. So Bolt is pretty good here. We could just trade it off since we're at 15. We don't really care about Dark Confidant surviving that much. But since we have 2, I think we want to make him remove our Dark Confidant and just flashback Lingering Souls for now. Alright, 2 spells is good for him. And Bedlam Reveler. Playing another Dark Confidant out right now seems like tempting fate a bit too much, though. Alright, fine with that. We're actually in such a favorable position right now. not having a Dark Confidant on the board is pretty good, because these spirits are really difficult for our opponent to deal with. So they have up Snapcaster, which can flashback Bolt. There might be some other shenanigans. We know 3 of the cards in our opponent's hand, which are Snapcaster Mage, Bedlam Reveler, and Blackcleave Cliffs. But I see no reason not to just play Nahiri. And we'll get rid of Dark Confidant. And now our opponent has 2 gigantic threats to deal with. One of the threats is 4 spirits, and the other is a Nahiri. They should be able to deal with the Nahiri. I mean, they can just kill it right now, but that does nothing to solve the spirit problem. And Liliana was even a pretty good draw here. Okay. Let's go ahead and get rid of Dreadbore. Okay, so now we have Lethal and Burn. If we had have drawn a land, we could have left up Terminate and Lightning Bolt when attacking with Shambling Vent, but right now we can just attack and pass, and if our opponent plays something, we can kill them. Put an upkeep stop, because we might want to cast it on upkeep as well. Alright. Well, this is still lethal. Unless there's Spell Snare. And there isn't. Alright, so Rest in Peace is looking pretty appealing. Timely seems like an upgrade from Lingering Souls if we're going to be bringing in the full amount of Rest in Pieces, especially. Dreadbore seems pretty underwhelming since we want to be interacting at instant speed. I like the Thoughtseizes because the deck has so much value cards. Just being able to take an important card can disrupt their whole plan, but we probably don't need all of them. Paths, Bolts, Helixes, Terminates. Painful Truths and Liliana seem mediocre on the draw, so maybe we'll just do that. Kalidas is not so good with Rest in Peace as well. possible we want another Dreadbore for dealing with Tassiger or something. Yeah, let's go full removal. Do we have enough gas is the question if we're taking out all our Lingering Souls. Yeah, I think this should be fine. The Thoughtseize and Inquisitions are also really good against counter magic, allowing us to check before we cast like a Nahiri into open mana. Make sure we're not going to get negated or what have you. And now we wait. Three Rest in Peace is really nice. Just a very powerful card if your deck can support it. The issue is most decks are playing Graveyard Interaction themselves. Even this one with Lingering Souls. And Emrakul if you want to discard it to Nahiri. But this is a curve I can get behind. Bolt, Planeswalker, Planeswalker. Alright, one on top. Now that is a curve I can get behind. Very powerful. I'm gonna leave up Bolt since we aren't sure what our opponent's deck is doing. Blood Crypt would be nice too, since we're looking to be curving out, but if our opponent played like Delver or Young Pyromancer or something, we would really want to be able to bolt it and then play Dark Confidant. So we've already seen our opponents running mana leaks. The question is, do we want to just start tossing things out since our hand is so good? Playing a Dark Confidant here seems fine. I mean, it's almost certainly going to get answered though. Alright, that's okay. This hand would be much nicer if we had an Inquisition or Thoughtseize to sort of give us some guidance as to what our opponent's hand looks like. Here I think we'll also just play out Liliana, since we even have a redundant one. Alright, good old Counter Squall. Inquisition takes Liliana, so and leaves up mana. Here I think we just run out the Nahiri. Our opponents already played 3 cards, or down to 3 cards in hand, and already played a Counter Squall. I think we just have to keep running out our threats at this point. and hope this one sticks. Alright. Doesn't look like it's going to. Unfortunate. Alright, Shambling Vent is fine. That's not okay. That's gonna generate a lot of value when we're in just a board style. Rest in Peace would have been nice earlier. One on top. Yeah, now we're basically out of the game. None of our threats stuck, and our opponent was able to start chaining value together. Okay, and we're just gonna take 2 because we don't really want to put that back in the graveyard. Liliana and Bedlam Reveler. Okay, there's Nahiri. So we want to play. We get to play around Mana Leak and leave up both our threats here. Both our removal spells for all this stuff. So now we have some hope. Especially if our opponent didn't have any redundancy on this Snapcaster Mage. Just activating 2 tar pits is actually pretty good for us. Attacking my face. I mean, the Hiri's more important than my face. That's too bad. That's pretty good though. Leave up Helix and see what happens. All at me. That's too bad. If we had have drawn something useful, it would have made him have to choose between attacking us and Nahiri. But now we just have to play this and minus it. I could have just minused my first Nahiri. I like plussing it though and being aggressive with it. Yeah. Because it gives our opponent more time to top deck if we don't play aggressively, which is what happened. Alright, maybe go full aggression with the Thoughtseizes. And the Lilianas, just try and stick a threat and ride it to victory. I think that's a better plan than what we did before, especially on the play. Since our opponent's going to outvalue us in a long game, we really need to be proactive and resolve a Planeswalker and win with it. Nice. Unfortunately, tap lands are gonna mess with us here, so I think we'll just lead on Shambling Vents. And Thoughtseize. So, bunch of stuff, bunch of good stuff. Taking Bolt might actually be the play here, since then our opponent has to Thoughtseize us if they want to stop Dark Confidant. Fulminator Mage isn't really an issue, we have so much land. Jace we can path. But our opponent's hand is good. Alright, there goes Dark Confidant. So here would be a really nice time to draw Liliana. Bottom. That's not Liliana. And now we can't do anything. Alright, Fulminator Mage isn't particularly relevant. Sure. Alright. Second one is also fine, I guess. That's a bad draw. So our opponent has Jace, Tar Pit, one other card in hand. This other card seems to be good though, unfortunately. The third Fulminator Mage is becoming an issue. That's a good draw. Don't mind that. Since our opponent is just down to Tar Pits in hand and play. So if this Confidant survives, we should be golden. I think we'll just path this immediately. Alright, Donk Confident, take us home. Come on, buddy. Survive. We're even Emrakul protected here. Looks like our opponent didn't draw an answer, so let the flippening begin. We revealed Lightning Helix. I think we'll just leave up Lightning Helix for now. Really? So this is gonna get countered, but it'll allow us to timely. I mean, there's no flips that kill us since Embercool's in hand. But our opponent just didn't have anything. Terminate. And duress. Probably taking terminate. Since their biggest hope is to just kill us with Bob and Creeping Tar Pit. Ew. Oop, bolt. I'll take it. Still no land to activate Shambling Vent. They don't know we drew both as well. It's going to be down to the wire though. Alright, so we activate Shambling Vent. Is really our only play. So glad Emrakul is in hand. Safely in hand. Alright, so 5 is safe. So our opponent needs to do something, and they didn't. Just flooded out. Whew, that was a close one. Still had all these things in hand.